Hey guys, Axelmyth here, coming at you with another review. And today we're going to look at the Mario and Luigi series, at least the first 3 games. Basically played these games back to back to back, kind of. I mean, I think I put at least a week in between, and usually in that week I was able to beat another game. Without further ado, let's get into the game. It's an RPG. I don't know what else you expected. It's turn-based, but they put the Mario spin on it, and what that is basically you press buttons, time things correctly, and you'll do more damage, or in this case, you'll do any damage. I mean, like, because if you don't press A when you're attacking, or B for Luigi, at the right time when you're attacking, you're gonna do like half the damage that you normally would if you timed it right. And you're also gonna die a lot if you do not get that timing down. So the first one, the story, this evil sorceress Cackletta comes and takes over the Mushroom Kingdom with her sidekick Flawful. He comes in. He comes important later on, and yeah, basically you gotta, you know, get the Mushroom Kingdom back, and when you think it's over, Cackletta merges with Bowser, and then that's an entire thing that happens. So first off, I actually really like the story of the game. It's more like, and I actually like appreciated the overworld. I actually like it better than the next game. But I don't know, this one, I don't know if it suffers from first game syndrome. Like, I've heard Ant Dude say that. I don't know, it's not as fun as I find as later games in the series, because like I can't tell, because like right before that I played Pokemon, and right before that I played Pokemon. You know what I mean? So I thought I was getting a little RPG'd out, but I'm not sure, because I've played more RPGs since then, and I've had a lot more fun with these other ones than the original game. But it's still a good game. There's a lot to explore. I find actually a lot more to explore than its 2 sequels I'm going to talk about today, I think. And yeah, the first one is just good, solid good. Partners in Time. Yeah, let's start off with the story. I'm getting ahead of myself. The story is basically convoluted time plot. Basically something happened, you know, these alien mushrooms go to the past, but it doesn't affect the future somehow. I don't know. Baby Mario, Baby Luigi show up. You know, you have 4 face buttons now, so let's use all 4 face buttons. But the babies act like extensions of Mario and Luigi's attacks, and that is awesome. You know, I find that it really works. The problem is when one of the brothers dies and you're defending, because I don't know if you can tell, but
look at the B and the X button placements.
They're on opposite sides of the spectrum, and when you're trying to not get killed, you know, get your baby Mario killed, it's just really hard to, you know, press what I say, X and B at the same time to get Luigi and Baby Luigi and Baby Mario to jump when Mario's down. It didn't feel like that they thought that through very well. But this game usually gets complained at for how easy it is, and that's because of the brothers items, and I can definitely agree they give you way too many of those. Like, I feel like if they didn't give you as many of those but offered them in the shop, like they gave you a few to kind of introduce you, you know, even like gave you tutorials on how to use these, because I mean, like, they kind of do. You have to like open, you know, you have to press pause, go through menus, and then you are able to figure out what this item does. And it's just not as, you know, tutorialized, which for this game it really should be, at least for the first time. Like the fire flowers, they're basically useless because I couldn't figure out how to, you know, use them correctly. And like you know, you throw certain fireballs, and then like at a certain amount of time, it switches to the other bro, and then you have to press B or A, and it's just like, first off, it gives you like early stage carpal tunnel to even get an excellent on that. But the other thing is like, it's not there isn't like a loud enough sound or a you know, extravagant enough sprite change for you to notice, you know, who's supposed to be throwing the fireball. Going back to the babies, they add on to attacks. So like the Koopa Shell, you know, it's basically Mario and Luigi hitting it to the enemy and then hitting it back and forth. But with the babies, you click like B or Y depending on who threw the shell first. If it's Luigi, you press Y for baby Luigi. For Mario, you press X for baby Mario. Basically, they just add on, you know, extra damage. But for how many bros items in this game that this game actually gives you, it does get really easy, and you know, you're able to defeat these bad guys in like no time at all. And granted, I did notice this problem going, you know, to the next game, because I know that these were in fact a thing in the first game. I just don't remember using them much for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't remember using them. But they were definitely a thing, because you had bros points in that one, and then this one it was bros items. Because I think like this game would have been at least a little more strategic if they didn't give you them as items, but instead as like, you know, brother points attacks. With the bros items, you know, you're just using one turn to use the item, whereas as bros points, you have to like stop at least once to drink syrup to, you know, bring back those bros points. You know what I mean? There's, you know, there's basically a final boss with Bowser in like all three of these games, but like that one is like a dark princess possessed Koopa, you know what I mean? Bowser, sorry. So yeah, Partners in Time I thought was really fun. I don't like, do I think it's better than the first? In some aspects. I like being able to use all the face buttons. Granted, I was playing a GBA game ported to the 3DS, so you can't help that, but I don't know, I feel like for the remake they could have added something for the other two buttons, and that's where I'm going to get into the third game, because this also uses the other two buttons, but I just feel like in a better way, and in the future could help the Mario and Luigi series. So first off, Bowser's Inside Story.
Bowser, that long-time bad guy, really does suck.
What happens is, like, well, there's like a side plot of like Toad's getting the Blorgs, but that's not these things called the Blorgs where they just kind of puff up into a ball. If you ever seen Mario Pinball Land, yeah, it's kind of what it is, except like they also grow. The main plot of this story is Fawful. He actually makes a cameo in the second one. It's not that important, but in this one, Fawful makes a return. And yeah, it was you know, I actually kind of like Fawful. I have this like memory from my childhood of my oldest brother Ben kind of saying in his voice, in what he thought you know, Fawful would sound like, saying, "I have chotos," or something like that. I don't know. I just, you know, Fawful is a neat character, and I kind of wish that they'd bring him back a little more. But basically, he gives Bowser this mushroom that allows him to just like vacuum like Kirby. You know what I mean? And he ends up, basically, there's like a conference in Princess Peach's room, and he ends up sucking all of those mushrooms in, and they're trapped inside Bowser. And you're basically playing as Bowser in the typical 3D fashion that you would otherwise being Mario and Luigi. And then Mario and Luigi has actually transitioned into more of a 2D thing. And I actually like that, but I do wish there were there was a little more those 3D segments with Mario and Luigi. So basically, X and Y controls Bowser's 2 attacks, and then A and B control Luigi and Mario. And yeah, it's the same. It's the battle system is probably its most refined here. It doesn't use the X and Y button when you're playing Mario and Luigi, but like a lot of the items have become easier to use, and that becomes just so much better. The Fire Flower I actually ended up using a lot because I was able to get my stretch my finger across the bottom screen, and because it goes Mario, Luigi, Mario, and then if you are good enough, if you get the great, it'll go on to excellent. And what you do, and I was able to stretch my hand across the bottom screen, and then just kind of wail on those A and B buttons, and I'd get higher damage out of that. Yeah, people kind of looked at me strange. And then going on to the Bowser, well, first off, he just uses his fists and fire. That's about it. And then for his bros points, because those are in this game, as I mentioned earlier, he uses a bunch of his minions, and that's actually really cool. There's actually a few of them that are optional, because I think the Magic Koopas are. I think pretty much all of them, except for the very first one, are optional, especially the last one. And let me tell you, the last one is worth it because it's pretty easy to obtain. You get it near the end, but what happens is basically you run into this French block guy. He's a block collector, which is hilarious considering it's Super Mario. And by the way, he does not like Mario and Luigi. He's like, how can I collect blocks with you ruffians around here? Get shoo away from me. I'm French. You help this block guy and find these blitties, these block kitties, and he will give you his block dog. And let me tell you, this block dog does so much damage. I will say that it's more useful towards the enemies than it actually is the final boss. Because the final boss, you basically use it once, and then use another move, and then basically the next segment of the boss happens. It's a really powerful move, and I think that's one reason why this game is a little too easy. My consensus of this game is that it is way too easy especially compared to the second one. The second one I actually had to use a lot of revives, but for this one I didn't. I didn't use a lot of them. In fact, during the final boss, I used one max 1-up mushroom, and that was it. And I probably stocked up on my syrup a couple times, the bros points. But that's because I was just wailing on it with bros moves. And I'll kind of get to that in a minute, but I want to talk about Bowser's gameplay real quick. Bowser's gameplay uses the X and the Y button, and to guard also, and that's what I wanted to get to here. This is the point I want to make. This is the part that I think could help future Mario games. Basically, you press X to throw a punch, and then you press Y to crouch and use your shell to block, and then there will be one thing coming at Bowser's face or one thing dropping from above, and it lets you determine what you want to block with. And that's something that I just felt was I don't know, to me it's something so small, but I really wish that the game would just let you do that. Because what happens with Mario and Luigi is it's predetermined whether or not you're going to use the hammer or jump. And honestly, in this game, more than the other two, there were a few things that they had me hammer that I was you're gonna have me hammer this, I could easily jump over this. So for moves like that, it'd be really awesome to just be able to click a button, you know, throw the hammer down, or press, you know, another button and jump. You know what I mean? And it's just like a lot of the small enemies only have like 2 attacks, but like you could easily do, you know, have so many attacks, and then, you know, have one be for the hammer and one for the A button. Okay, so how this game is way too easy compared to the other two is that this thing stocks you up, and I mean a lot. It stocks you up. Every battle basically I was in, it was throwing mushrooms, mega mushrooms, sometimes max mushrooms at me, or the Bowser equivalent, because Bowser has his own stock, which is cute. But so actually one thing that I make that a little better is if they all shared the same, you know, the same stock. So if you have 20 mushrooms, you have to use those 20 mushrooms on 3 different characters, or don't give you nearly as many. And like, there's not as many items in this game as there is in the previous two. The previous two, they had attack and defense and speed and different parts that you can level up, and they didn't do that for this game. Instead, they opted for like this badge thing that I'm not a giant fan of, and even then you can like cheese that because it doesn't count as a turn. It actually like adds another move that you can do, I guess. And you know, I'm not a fan of that mechanic on this game, but you know, this game I just feel like could have been a little better in terms of difficulty. Take away the badges, give those to, you know, make those actual items again, and then, you know, you have more. This game can give you more than just, you know, there's actually a few items that it could give you in this game, like different, you know, gear, but it opts, like 9 times out of 10, it will opt for like a mushroom or a mega mushroom, or, you know, drumstick or mega drumstick or whatever. Those were just kind of my thoughts on the what I'm gonna call the original trilogy of Mario and Luigi games. I'd love to know your opinions. If you have any opinions, if you've played them, if you haven't played them, if you want to play them. But until next time, guys, this is Axelmyth, and I'll see you later.
Alright, so I'd like to thank Nintendo Central and EddieERL for their footage. Without them, this edited version of the review would have been impossible, as I don't have a way to actually record my 3DS or my Nintendo DS. So just a big shout out to them. I used their long plays of these games. I hope that this version of the review shows what I was trying to talk about a lot better, just because I had some feedback from the original review and I heard it was very confusing. So I hope that the visuals kind of put things into perspective better. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.